What's up, guys? It's your boy Ray B. Maybe back with a better video this time, or not. But I'm kind of back with a serious video because I've been away for a long time, and there's a reason to that. With social media, it's tricky because with being in this industry, in the videos I make, I want to be honest with you guys, and I want to share my life, and making videos is what makes me happy. But when going through struggles and when not being at my happiest, I find it hard to make videos for you guys. I think it's because I'm not one to lie or one to really hide my emotions very well. I tend to want to cry with you guys. I want to share with you guys what's going on. But then I feel weird about it sometimes. Like, I don't want my YouTube to be a diary. But there's something I've been going through that's been so confusing and so hard and so tricky for me. And I'm in a better place with it, and I feel like even though I never thought that I would make this video, I think it's time that I've made a video about what I've been going through and share with you guys, because in a sense I think and I hope that it will help others. I'm just gonna go through and talk about what the heck I'm talking about because you have no idea. I made a couple videos. The first video I made was back December 22nd of 2019, so pretty much almost New Year's going into 2020. I posted a video called How Being Trans Has Affected My Sex Life. I'll put that here just so you can see what I'm talking about. Then I made another video. That video was called... Let me get it up. I don't even remember. Sexual Trauma and Transitioning. In these two videos, I talk to you guys about some struggles I've been going through with dysphoria, trauma, dealing with sexual activities that made me feel uncomfortable, things like that. And in these two videos, I don't really talk about what happened to me or what I went through that made me feel this way, but I did quote and like foreshadow that I wanted to talk about it maybe. I have been going through something in my life, and I'm still going through what I have described in those two videos. Extreme bottom dysphoria, sexual trauma, PTSD, things that have to do with sexual activities, sexual music, sexual movies, anything like that, sexual jokes, anything that has to do with your body parts or something that has to do with being intimate with somebody makes me extremely uncomfortable. I have been talking about this on live stream with you guys because you guys will ask me to play a song or ask me if I've seen a show or something like that. And usually I'll say like no, because it is quite sexual, so I can't really I don't prefer watching that. And a lot of you guys have just been like asking me, well, Raegan, why is that? I remember you being quite openly sexual, quite confident, never being too innocent or irritated by people who made sexual jokes. What happened? Now, there is something that happened, because you guys are right. I have always been kind of openly confident, openly sexual, and I've never seemed to have an issue with it. Apologies, my camera died. Always happens. But I did go through something. And I went through something that I do feel comfortable sharing. I feel like, in a sense, I don't feel like it's very triggering to share. I'm going to talk very lightly, and I'm not going to go too into detail, but I do want to explain something that happened to me as a trans man that I feel like all trans people should be aware of, and I feel like can learn from what I went through. I don't want to give too much detail because it's embarrassing, but I had some health issues going on, and I needed to go to the doctor. Now, that doesn't sound like anything big. You know, going to the doctor, everyone has to go. But this specific doctor I have been holding off on going for so long because of me being trans. And maybe you guys can relate. I had to go to the gynecologist. And every body has to go to their doctor and get checked. But when it comes to getting your private areas checked, you go towards a male or female doctor. A gynecologist or a urologist, I believe. One is for technically women and one is for technically men. Just technical terms. I had to go to the gynecologist, and because of me being trans, I didn't really understand where I went. Because nobody wants to talk about it. It's embarrassing, but I feel like we should. I have to go to the woman doctor. And this was something that was so hard because my dad and my mom were like, we wouldn't make you go if there wasn't something going on with your health because of you being trans. If you weren't trans, we'd make you go no matter what, because at the end of the day, everyone has to go to the doctor. But we get how it can be specifically uncomfortable for you as a trans man. Now, I really respected that, my parents felt that way. But in a sense, I understood that I needed to go, so I said, book me an appointment, I'll go. Fast forward, I'm not going to get too into detail. I don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable, but trigger warning, I'm going to talk about what happens at the gynecologist, not too much. But obviously, they're just getting checked out by the doctor. And it can be uncomfortable for anybody. But what comes into play with, being trans is that it's not just like you getting your body checked out by the doctor. It's like I felt like there was some form of dysphoria coming in because I just specifically knew that I was at the women's doctor and I was getting like a woman part checked, if that makes sense, and I just felt like completely out of my comfort zone. Little did I know there was more to the procedure. Like when getting an exam, I didn't realize that there was something called an inner ultrasound. They have to take like an ultrasound, like a little scope that can see things, and put it inside you so that they can make sure everything that's inside of you looks good and is healthy. I think that I just wasn't really aware of this process or how it would make me feel. Because I just knew that I was going to the doctor, and I just kept telling myself, like, it's the doctor, and everybody goes, and you have to go, and it's okay. And they're just making sure that you're healthy and you're okay. But nobody talks about... Sorry, there's a beep. Nobody talks about what it's like for a trans man, a man, to be on that chair with his legs spread and that type of action. I've never had that type of action before. I never have even messed with myself because in reality, you don't feel comfortable with yourself when you're trans. When all of this happened, that day, I was a changed person. And I didn't really know what was going on. I just was uncomfortable. I was on edge. I didn't like people touching me. I didn't like people looking at me. I felt weird and uncomfortable, like I had been assaulted, in all honesty. Even though I know at the end of the day I wasn't assaulted. It's just that I think that I went through an action that I wasn't expecting, and at the end of the day, I wasn't comfortable enough to say stop. I was totally withdrawn from myself, like just taken out of my body, not even in the zone, like not even there, not even aware. After this incident, yeah, I wasn't the same. And when I started hearing music, I started really hearing the lyrics. It was like, I used to listen to rap all the time. Now I listen to a rap song, and if I hear them say anything about doing something to a girl or anything nasty or anything like that, I can't listen to it. It breaks me down. It makes me feel like I'm dying. Like panic attack. Like WAP, for example. Everyone listening to Cardi B, like jamming out to WAP, that used to be me, but definitely a song like that, and no, I couldn't listen to that. I couldn't stand to listen to that. I feel like I was dying. What's crazy is, yeah, it used to be so different for me. I was a pretty sexually active kid, which was fine. It was safe, and I was comfortable, and it was consensual. But now it's like hard to listen to that type of stuff, that music, or even watch a movie that has an aggressive, like, sexual scene in it. Really throws me off. I know, like, just a brief description for you, or an example. The Walking Dead. A lot of people know about that show. I told you guys that I was watching that, actually, in a past YouTube video. Me and LELA were supposed to be binging it. We had to stop watching the show, frankly, because there was an assault scene in it, a sexual assault, and I just can't do it, and I couldn't do it. And when I, like, saw it, I was totally caught off guard. I didn't know it was in the show. I was really uncomfortable. I broke down. I cried. And I just cried forever. I think the reason I wanted to make this video and share all of this with you guys is because I just want to be honest, and I want to have you guys to talk to. I feel like my whole YouTube has just been me being open and honest with you guys, and I haven't really been able to make the YouTube videos that I want because of the things I've been going through. I think I also made this video because with everything I'm going through, I've felt alone. And I felt weird, and I feel like nobody can ever relate to that. I feel like a boomer. Like, people can't hang around me because if they make sexual jokes, I feel uncomfortable. I wanted to share this, I think, because, yeah, I want to be an advocate for you guys as well. And I want trans kids to be aware and to ask questions and to know you can take it slow when doing something like this if you're going to a doctor. I want to do something because I don't want trans kids to have to go one way or the other anyway. You know, I never actually fixed my health issues, but I can't go back. And I wish that we had a doctor that just didn't make you feel like you had to be one way or the other, like you were just going to the woman's doctor. When I was in that room, it's like you're surrounded by pictures of, like, the female genitalia and, like, stuff. It's just all around not the best setting for trans kids. With me right now and all of that and going through the PTSD and trauma, I've been better. I can definitely talk about it, and I can definitely say that since 2019 going into 2020, all the panic attacks and the breakdowns have lessened. But it's hard because I never have realized until going through all of this that it's so hard to find music or shows, friends, just people in general who, like, just don't want to talk about that kind of stuff. And a lot of people that I've hung out with and a lot of people that I used to be very, very close with, I don't talk to at all. Because I felt like either they didn't really respect my boundaries, low-key, they weren't able to, or they just don't like me anymore because of it. I feel like I've just been going through such a hard time in my life, guys. If I'm being honest, I've disassociated myself with everybody in my life besides my girlfriend. I've maybe created even a bigger bond with my parents because I've been at rock bottom and I've needed them. I've been in lots of therapy, I've been looking at groups, and I've been on meds and off meds. All because of one doctor's appointment that I wasn't prepared for. I think that's why I wanted to share this video so bad, and I think that's why I want to start discussing it more. Even if it is hard and it is embarrassing and it's honest. It's real. And if I've done anything with my YouTube channel, it's been honest and it's been being real. And you guys can go and you guys can watch those 2 videos, because then you can really see the journey and the confusion that I went through with this. But with therapy and groups and help, I've figured out all of this happened because I wasn't prepared, and I went to a doctor's appointment and something happened to me that made me feel demasculated as a transgender person. Because let me give it to you straight, I've had a couple conversations with a couple people, and they've told me, well, it's not pleasant for anybody going to the doctor and getting your genitals checked out. And I'm like, you're right. It's uncomfortable for everyone, I'm sure. But I don't think that's the part that traumatized me. Being uncomfortable because someone's checking me out. Like, in a sense, like, it's the doctor. I get it. It's knowing that that doctor is so easily able to do something that I have never wanted to be done to me. And frankly, if I had the male genitalia and I went to the male doctor and got my genitalia checked out, I can assure you it wouldn't have been as traumatizing. So I just want to slip that in there, that this is trans talk right now. This is that part of the brain, that dysphoria, that real deep dysphoria that people don't talk about. That's what peaked right in that moment, me being at the doctor and having that type of exam. And it needs to be talked about more. Because I don't know if any other trans kids have gone through this, but what happens if at the end of the day something like cancer or something goes on with you down there, and the only thing you can do is have that type of exam or hurt yourself? You could die because you're sick. It's a hard decision. I'm rambling at this point, and I don't even really know where this video is going, but I think that I did make my point. I think there's more that I want to talk about, but I think with your guys' comments and the reactions to this video, maybe I'll make another one. I want to hear as much feedback from you guys as possible, if you guys have any for me. And with that, I think I'm just going to end this video like this, because I don't know what to do next. For me, every day I just keep going, just keep swimming, right? I'm just trying to work and do things that I love. But I know I've been off of YouTube, and I've been away from social media in general because I'm scared of people now. I don't want to be scared of you guys, though. So I'm hoping that we can just like rebond, and I'm hoping that you guys will like these type of videos of me just being honest and sharing this type of stuff. But I felt like it was needed to be shared in order for me to continue making videos that are just fun. So on that note, I think I'm going to hop off of here on this YouTube. This isn't a live stream, this is a YouTube video, Raegan. Okay, I'm going to end this YouTube video, but I appreciate you guys for sticking through if you've stuck through this long. And if you have stuck through this long, I want to see you put a I love pizza in the comments, so I know that you stuck this long because I'm going to be looking out for you. Yeah, so comment I love pizza in the comments if you've actually listened to me talk for this long. Just because I'll do something special for you. Perhaps a DM or something. I'll reach out. I love you guys. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. I know it was a lot. But I will be making more videos. So, into the next one.